people you haven't invited drop round to your house. And what do you give them to eat? Well, I thought we'd prepare a couple of long-lived snacks that can live in the fridge for 2 or 3 or 4 days and feed people really nicely, really festively during this time. So I've decided to make a classic, proper British pork pie, a real one. Look, in here, I've chopped up loads of bits of pork, belly of pork and leg of pork and stuff like that, put it into some water with a couple of pig's trotters, which will make it jellify when it gets cold, with onions, parsley, bay leaves, sage and carrots for flavouring. Then I've made some hot water crust pastry. Now this is done by melting lard in water and mixing it with the flour while it's still hot. Now this, because it's going to be a traditionally hand-raised pork pie, we won't use rolling pins, and we're going to have a nice thick crust. We're going to flatten that out and lay it in the bottom of our baking tray there. And we keep pressing it right the way down and start to build it up around the sides as well. This is what's good fun about cooking, I think, is cooking is not a science, it's not an art, it's a cross between playing with plasticine and doing painting. And I really enjoy it. So we get some more of this out, and once it's been baked in the oven, it can keep in the fridge, easily for a week. Right, so we have that, we're happy about that. Now, we're going to fill it. Now, there's a school of thought that says you might like to mince this, but I don't. I like the big, chunky pieces of meat in it. Right, then we now put a lid on the top of this. Same thing. Press it out by hand. Now, you can be as smart as you like about making this look really pretty. But since I'm not a really smart guy and I don't care too much about prettiness, I'm much more concerned about the flavour. Then I'm going to brush that with beaten egg and milk so the pie crust will glaze nicely. I'm going to make a little hole in the middle because later on, when it's baked, I'll be filling up the pie with this lovely rich pork jelly. So there it is. That's our genuine hand-raised pork pie, and it's going in the oven for probably about an hour. There's my pork pie. I've allowed it to cool down for about 3 hours. I've also allowed the stock, which I cooked the meat in, to cool down. It's almost turned to jelly. So at this stage, I fill the pie with what is really the delight of this great, great British dish, the lovely jelly. There we are. That'll soak its way down, and I'll keep it in the fridge for another couple of hours. And then when we cut it open, we can see a wonderful classical pork pie with pickled walnuts, pickled onions, a little salad,